Acting Controller General of the Nigerian Prison Service NPS, Sylvester Ndidi Nwakuche, has addressed key issues impacting the welfare and management of inmates during his maiden meetings with senior officers. Nwakuche highlighted the recent increase in the daily feeding allowance for inmates from 750 naira to 1,125 naira, acknowledging it as a step forward, but emphasizing the need for further improvements. He revealed that monitoring teams from the national headquarters have been deployed to oversee inmates' feeding, urging cooperation from senior officers to ensure accountability. He pledged to prioritize the welfare of vulnerable inmates, including pregnant women, babies, nursing mothers, and the physically challenged. Plans are underway to expand classrooms, enhance vocational training centers, and foster public-private partnerships to sustain reform and rehabilitation efforts. Addressing prison overcrowding, Nwakuche pointed to the 48,932 inmates currently awaiting trial, representing a significant proportion of the prison population. He outlined plans to liaise with the Attorney General of the Federation, the Inspector General of Police, and other stakeholders to expedite the trials of non-bailable offenders, such as those charged with armed robbery and murder. He also encouraged officers to collaborate with states' chief judges, attorney generals, and commissioners of police to address the challenges of delayed trials and promote non-custodial measures like early release mechanisms. Nwakuche identified overcrowding as the NPS's most pressing issue and urged officers to leverage existing opportunities for non-prison measures. He issued a stern warning against indolence, which could lead to escapes, riots, or attacks, stressing that the consequences of such lapses would be severe. The Reinforcement, Security and Facility Management directed officers to resume quarterly inspections, conduct weekly searches, and reports on weak structures or urgent matters requiring attention. What are your thoughts on this story when you look at this? Is Nigeria. Many people made purchase for food during just the concluded festive period, yearly tide season. Many people you saw the price of a hamper, you saw the price of food. The one onion is currently what, 500 naira. What are your thoughts when you think about that as in regards to feeding for a prisoner raised to 1,125 naira?
Well, you know how our government, our system works. It's too poor for somebody to survive. Maybe what that thing can afford is one loaf of bread, and the person will just eat it for the day.
Can it afford one loaf of bread?
And it depends on the size of bread. There is kind of bread they say 300, 500. That's what it can afford. Then, but that is not enough to sustain somebody. Somebody should not die in prison because he committed an offense. The essence of prison is to make people better, just like we discussed before.
Right.
But the issue of overcrowding, I think they need to reorganize that. They need to do something about it, because many people go to prison for just minor offenses. It's not everything that happens you pick somebody.
Now, what does that say about our justice system?
Well, I don't have to say much about our justice system. The justice system, the Nigerian masses believe that the system is not really working, because so many people that committed a lot of crimes are walking free today. So many people that are innocent are in prison today. So they need to do something about it. If somebody commits a crime, stealing, if some people are in prison because they stole 5 naira from neighbors or from anywhere. Remember when they used to burn people in places like Aba because the person stole a phone? But many people are stealing bigger amounts of money. Many people are stealing public funds. These are the people that are supposed to be in jail. But these people that steal out of hunger, I don't think they should be able. They should send them to prison.
No, Mr. Ndidi, there is this thought that there is no big sin and there is no small sin.
Yes.
Do you quite agree?
If he believes
do you quite agree that there is no big sin and there
every
is no
sin
small
is sin?
Every sin is sin. But when you talked about, you know, people that are just trying to survive, why are you not taking arms? Aren't you trying to survive?
No, I'm not. If taking arms is against the law.
When I mean taking arms, deciding to rob, the armed robbery, right?
That one is armed robbery.
Right.
Good.
Robbery. If you walk into someone's, so you have let's call it a supermarket.
Yes.
Now someone walks in there, they're not armed, but they decided to pack some things from the store. It's stealing.
That is stealing. If you
does it mean if they steal food because they are hungry, then they should be?
You have already put yourself in a difficult position by arming yourself. Whether you rob or not, if they catch you, you go to jail.
Right.
Oh, but I'm talking about somebody. Maybe somebody is caught stealing a goat. Somebody is caught stealing a phone. Are you getting it?
All right.
No, these people shouldn't suffer so much, because you need to ask them what led you into this kind of act. If it's hunger, you try and solve the problem. The problem is hunger. If you look at the person, it's poverty. You solve the poverty. Empower people. You see that all these things will stop. It's not about. It's not the main thing is not to get at people, to use the law against the ordinary people who are just trying to survive, whom the system have subjected to suffering. Solve the problem of hunger in this country, empower people, and you get the best out of people, out of everybody. When you take a look at all these advanced nations that are doing well, it's not that the people there are saints. It's the system that has provided a better life for the people, and then they made laws to protect the people, to protect that better life they have given to them, so that they don't do. And I have somebody in places like Germany who say that the government is taking care of them, and the government says we are doing this because we don't want you to steal, we don't want you to beg to feed. They're giving them money to take care of themselves. So when you do the right thing in a society, you get the best out of people. You see that human beings are also capable of being good, being lawful instead of lawless.
Now, one last question before we move on. Since we're talking about prison, there's this thing about prisons that's in Nigeria that has kept me in a state of confusion. Right, and I'm sure the viewers too want to know your thoughts on it. Now, they said the prison is a place for reformation. People go there and come out anew. Certain countries like China even send their prisoners abroad to serve their time doing one work on behalf of the government here and there. Places like Finland, they put, I saw a report of most of the prisoners being taught technical skills where they work. In fact, their sentence was basically, one of the men that, I think he was sentenced for manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter. The sentence was basically he has to dip himself in ice for a number of, I think about an hour or thereabout for a day. But he goes around, he's well trained in tech. I think he's a software guy. He goes around doing software related things, which is his punishment. He still earns a living from it, you know, for himself. But that is his sentence, which Finland is one of the safest places to stay in the world just now, right? Do you think these prisoners in Nigeria get any form of reforms from going to the prison? Now, I want to point out, I want to quickly, before we go on, I want to point out a story to you that came up, I think 2 weeks ago. A man had been let out of the prison for, I think, for armed robbery.
Yes.
And there he was back again trying to rob. He came out on a Monday. On a Tuesday, he was rearrested for robbery. Now, do you think any form of reforms come from being in Nigerian prisons?
We have ordinary criminals and hardened criminals.
Okay.
So this person himself is a hardened criminal.
Do you think that is because he was robbing? What he went to steal was food.
Yes, and now when he came back, he started stealing.
When he came back, he went to steal food.
He still went to steal food.
I don't know what he stole before he went there. But on return...
we have to commend the government for putting up measures to rehabilitate these people
right.
and to empower these people. I think you mentioned the skills acquisition there.
Right.
So these are the things they can do to make these people better human beings.
Right.
When they are in prison, they are supposed to go to school. They are supposed to learn a skill. And when they come back, when they come out, you don't just say, just like somebody preaching self-employment, a government preaching about self-employment, and you are not empowering the people that will be self-employed. They will use any means to get self-employed.
Right.
So when you empower these people with skills, with knowledge, when they come out, you empower them. You give them money. Go and start this. Go and do that. They will see that in 10 years to come, you have businesses here and there. You have millionaires.
Right.
Instead of releasing somebody, a hardened criminal, release him to the society to come and terrorize the society. It shouldn't be like that. The government need to, they are doing a good job, but they need to step up. They need to step up their game.
Right.
They need to know the next thing to do to curtail some of these illegal activities from taking place.
Thank you so much for your input on that.